Stellar value equal to 1.5486 rands per coin. The current price range 1.52351, 5529. The previous day closing 1.5467. The change was plus 0.0019, plus 0.12. Superb cost forecast for the not too distant future in month. On Monday, July 10th, the cost estimate is 1.41 rands, with a high of 1.51 rands and a low of 1.31 rands. On Tuesday, July 11th, the stellar gauge cost 1.42 rands, with a high of 1.52 rands and a low of 1.32 rands. On Wednesday, July 12th, the stellar gauge cost 1.40 rands, with a high of 1.50 rands and a low of 1.30 rands. On Thursday, July 13th, the stellar gauge cost 1.36 rands, with a high of on Friday, June 30th, the cost is expected to be 1.37 rands, with a high of 1.547 rands and a low of 1.27 rands. On Monday, July 3rd, the stellar gauge cost 1.31 rands, with a top of 1.40 rands and a low of 1.22 rands. On Tuesday, July 4th, the cost estimate is 1.30 rands, with a high of 1.39 rands and a low of 1.21 rands. Stellar forecast on Wednesday, July 5th cost 1.30 rands, high 1.39, low 1.21. Stellar forecast on Thursday, July 6th cost 1.31 rands, high 1.40, low 1.22. Stellar forecast on Friday, July 7th cost 1.29 rands, high 1.38, low 1.20, and approximately 14 days. Stellar cost forecast on Monday, July 10th, cost 1.30 rands, high 1.39, low 1.21. Stellar estimate on Tuesday, July 11th, cost 1.36 rands, high 1.46, low 1.26. Stellar cost forecast on Wednesday, July 12th, cost 1.37 rands, high 1.47, low 1.27. Stellar estimate on Thursday, July 13th, cost 1.37 rands, high 1.47, low 1.27. Stellar cost forecast on Friday, July 14th, cost 1.36 rands, high 1.47, low 1.27. Stellar cost forecast on Friday, July 14th, cost 1.36 rands, high 1.47, low 1.27. Stel in 3 weeks. The high was 1.46 and the low was 1.26. On Monday, July 17th, the stellar estimate was 1.38 rands, with a high of 1.48 rands and a low of 1.28 rands anticipated for Tuesday, July 4th. 1.50, high 1.30, low. On Wednesday, July 5th, the stellar gauge cost 1.39 rands, with a top of 1.49 rands and a low of 1.29 rands. On Thursday, July 6th, the stellar cost forecast was 1.39 rands, with a high of 1.49 rands and a low of 1.29 rands. On Friday, July 7th, the stellar gauge cost 1.37 rands. A month ago, the high was 1.47, the low was 1.27. On Monday, July 10th, the cost estimate is 1.37 rands, with a top of 1.47 rands and a low of 1.27 rands. On Tuesday, July 11th, the stellar gauge cost 1.39 rands, with a high of 1.49 rands and a low of 1.29 rands. Stellar value forecast for 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027. Begin with a cost of 1.82 rands, then move on to a cost of 1.83 rands, then to a cost of 1.20 rands, and finally to a cost of 1.55 rands at the end of the month. 1.36% change for June, 25.3% stellar gauge for July 2023. To begin with cost at 1.36 rands, extravagant cost 1.54 while low cost 1.12, but discovered the medium value of cost 1.31 stellar cost gauge toward the months and 1.2% change for July, 11.88% stellar cost forecast for August 23 at the outset cost of 1.20 rands, excessive cost 1.36 while low cost 1.18. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.25 stellar cost forecast for the months and 1.27 change for August 5.8% stellar forecast for September 2023 at the outset cost of 1.27. Rand's excessive cost 1.27 while low cost 1.02. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.17 stellar costs forecast for the months and 1.10 C stellar forecast for November 2023 at the outset cost 1.28. Rand's excessive cost 1.39 while low cost 1.21. It arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.30 stellar forecast. For November 1st stellar cost projection for December 2023 is 0.6%. With an initial cost of 1.30. Rand's excessive cost 1.62 and low cost 1.30. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.43 stellar cost figure toward the months and 1.51 change for December 16.2% stellar cost figure for January 2024 initially cost at 1.51. Rand's excessive cost 1.51 while low cost 1.18. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.37 stellar cost figure for the months and 1.27 change for January. 15.9% stellar cost expectation for February 2024 initially cost at 1.27. Rand's excessive cost 1.27 while low cost 1.00. He arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.15 stellar cost figure for WAC 2024 initially cost at 1.07. Rand's excessive cost 1.11.05 change for spring 1.9% stellar cost expectation for April 2024. Before all else, cost at 1.05. Rand's excessive cost 1.31 while low cost 1.05. He arrived at the midpoint of cost 1.16 stellar cost figure toward the months and 1.22 change for April. 16.2% stellar cost figure toward the months and 1.22 change for April. 16.2% stellar cost figure toward the months and 1.22 change for April. 16.2% stellar cost figure for May 2024. In first place cost at 1.22. Rand's excessive cost 1.22 while low cost 1.03. They identified the middle value of cost 1.15 stellar cost gauge at the end of the month 1.11 change for May. 9% stellar cost projection for July 4.24. 1.19% change for June. 7.2% ZAR to XLM conversion. Scale comparable to 0.6457 coins per 1 rand. The current reach 0.6440 minus 0.6564. The previous days, near 0.6465 change. For now 0.00080.12% rand to stellar.